Hey, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of Game and Interactive Media Design. This is the first in a series of how to model a little character like this little guy named Pueble. This was a character designed by a former student in my 3D model character design course. And the student ended up researching a lot about driftwood, desert dried wood, clay terracotta pots, and came up with this great design. And it was a 2D design, and I'm trying to model it. Um, and so this is what I had. Now, before I show you how I modeled this, I kind of want to talk about what choices you can make, because this is the character board that the student ended up making. And you can see some animations here, you can see what the character looks like here, but the student spent a lot of time, even though she spent a lot of time modeling or drawing this character and figuring it out, what she ended up producing was an illustration of what this character looks like from the front, from the side. And so what we don't have yet is like, well, what does this 3D character look like as a model? And I wanted to point out when I unwrapped the model that I made and put a texture on it, I kind of chose to stick with the illustrated version of the wood here. And I kind of took the exact pot here, but I want to just point out that we could actually have done it a different way. Like over here on the left now is an actual PBR material of terracotta, and this image isn't the best image that's mapped onto Pueble here, but it is actual driftwood. And so like you can take these two different ideas, these two concepts for how you 3D model and add a material onto a 3D model. And so I just want to point out like the difference between the materials. One of the materials uses a diffuse map that looks like this. And I've unwrapped, the character. That's its diffuse map. It uses shadows map that looks like this. These should look familiar to you. That's the one on the right. The one on the left actually has two different slots. So let me double click actually the mesh. Where are you, Pueble? Where did Pueble go? Here's Pueble 0. So let me just zoom in to... Oops, that's a little bit fast. Can I slow down my camera? He's really tiny. I don't know why I did that. That was really dumb. Okay. He's got one material slot. And, if I put himself on him, there we go, that's a little bit better. If I put the material that does belong on him, it's fine. Let's go ahead and look at the UV. UV channel 0, and you can see how it's unwrapped, okay? Channel 1, this is its light map, and Unreal Engine does that on its own. If I were to put anything else on him, like, do we have any, like the gun model, like there's the gun material on his body, doesn't make sense, right? And there's just one material slot. Okay. When I double click the other Pueble, the second model, this too has a UV slot. I used the same exact model, the unwrapped model, but what I did here was put materials on here that will wrap all the way around it. So when I double click this material, it's using just an image of terracotta mapped wherever it says terracotta material goes here. The other one, the other one, let me just double click that, is a wood texture. So if I double click that and kind of show you what that wood texture looks like, This is the texture. It's just like a wooden texture. It's a PBR texture that I downloaded from textures.com. What I'm trying to tell you is I didn't spend a lot of time photoshopping. I just said, wood texture goes wherever it's wood. Clay texture, or terracotta, goes wherever it's terracotta. So I did spend a lot of time unwrapping both of them so that any texture that would be applied to them would be not distorted. But the one on the right uses those unwrappings to make a very unique texture specific to its location. This one on the left just says wood goes on wood, terracotta goes on terracotta. And you can do any sort of combination of those. So the way I model it isn't necessarily the one and only way of modeling. Okay, that being said, what are we going to do? I'm going to open a, let's see, open, don't save any changes, Pueble 12. I'm going to show you the final model. Oops, I don't want to show you that. That's for next week. Pueble 11? Nope. Well, now I know what to delete from the folder. There we go. This is Pueble 9. This is the final model, as final as I'm going to call it. And I'm just going to click on it for a moment, and you can see all of the steps that I used to model this. Okay, and so here's an edit poly. I have edit polys, and I renamed as many of these edit polys as possible, but you can see the unwrap is one of the last things I did. The smoothing group was added. That edit poly was somewhere down there. I capped holes, changing the arms, adding the arms, changing the head, still modeling the head. Whoops, cancel that. Turn that off. Cancel. Cap that hole, create the head, create the rim, and working on the legs here. And start it all off with a cylinder, and look at that cylinder, how it's got that object mapped to it, right? Isn't that really cool? So as we can see that being built from the ground up, let's see what I do here. I model the leg. This leg that I modeled here is just like the way I modeled the leg in the videos for the standard male model of modeling a leg. It's a little bit different, but like that's where I kind of rotate the edge loops. And because this is such a squatter leg, it's obviously slightly different. But in the next part, I do something different that I didn't do in the other videos because it didn't have this, but I extruded the leg out to make a little driftwoody kind of thing, and then moved the verts. I extruded the waist out, and this is the first I did do this in the standard male modeling. I extrude the waist out. And then we add symmetry. Now we extrude the torso, which is a pot. Extrude the rim. Extrude the head. Cap the head. Then I extruded this out a little bit. I just selected a specific faces and extruded them out just to change the geometry a little bit. Extruded that bit of the head out, and then extruded that little bit of the head out. And I think I also edited a little bit of the geometry. From there, I added an arm. And what I did was, you can see here, I'm going to do something similar to what I did in the male model video, is I extruded 4 polygons outward. The trick here was getting it over the rim of the terracotta pot. Then I finish the arm here. I then duplicate this arm and then use bridge tool to bridge that together. What did I cap holes? I'm not sure what needed capping holes. Oh yeah, the arms and the feet needed capping. Edit poly. What is this next edit poly? And then I think moved the base a little bit more around the crotch area. And then I added smoothing groups. And to see smoothing groups, You see that? Made them smooth. Then after that, I was done with my model, or I called myself done with the model, and I went ahead and unwrapped everything, and that's how you see that. And then what did I do? Then I just added another poly. And that's what I did, and that's what the next series of videos is going to go through. It's also going to go through like the actual unwrapping, right? Which takes a lot of time. And you can see my beautiful unwrapping data here. It is not distorted. It looks pretty good. And I'm going to talk a little bit in the videos about keeping these lines straight as you can. So that's the model. That's what I'm going to show. You can choose to do this for your project or not. It's up to you. But just note, modeling bodies is a little hard. So take a week to model a form, and then you're going to need another week to unwrap and create materials for it. Okay, good luck. Bye.